Hi, welcome to day 2. Psalm 32:8 says, I would instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye. As such, it is not futile to search for the will of God. It can be found. Here we want to talk about some of the questions, some of the reflections you can ask the person you're helping or even yourself as we seek God's will. Most Christians want to know and follow the will of God. They just want to know without a doubt that they are doing it. First, it should be known that there is a difference between directive will, God's command, absolute command, and His permissive will. Now, let's talk about the first kind, His directive will. God's directive will is His specific, absolute, unchangeable, unconditional will. Examples of this will, this directive will, are, for example, His will that believers assemble with others in worship. Hebrews 10:25. And in 2 Corinthians 6:14, His directive will that Christians only marry another Christian. Raising children by God's standards as directed by Ephesians 6:4. Obey and honor parents. Ephesians 6:1-2. And Old Testament passages also point to that. 1 Timothy 5:8, another directive will, support one's own family. Proclaim Christ is another one, Acts 1:8. Meditate on scriptures, Psalms 1:2. Show love to others, 1 Corinthians 13. Under this category of directive will, then it is not open to us if it is God's will to assemble or not to assemble with others in worship, because His directive will is to assemble. It does not give us the freedom to choose not to assemble. He commands us to assemble with others in worship. And that goes the same with the other examples that have been quoted. And here, our job is to find out His directive will and obey. As simple as that. Questions for understanding God's plan. As we interact with others, or even as you think about it yourself, ask questions that will help the person or yourself understand that God does in fact have a plan and will reveal it. It's a process that occurs slowly. Often God is okay with any number of possibilities, provided they glorify Him equally. Remember, it is much easier to see God in the rearview mirror than through the windscreen, which means that many a times only when we look back at the past of our lives, then we can see how God was working out His will, how He was actively involved. But as of now, as we seek God's will, we are looking in front through the wind screen. In front, it is much harder to look forward and to see the good that He is about to do. Nevertheless, here are some questions to assess the situation we are in. 1. Tell me about your relationship with the Lord. 2. Do you think you initiated this relationship or did God reach out to you? 3. What major decisions have you made in the past? 4. How have you changed as a result of these decisions? 5. Do you believe God was with you when you made these decisions? 6. If so, how could you tell? 7. What might happen in this current situation if you make the wrong decision? 8. Do you think that God will disown you if you make the wrong decision? 9. If you make the wrong decision, do you think God could change his plan to accommodate that wrong decision? 10. How might God direct you toward his will or plan in this decision? 11. How will you know if you have made the right decision? 12. Will any or all of the options you are considering bring glory to God? 13. You are searching for the unrevealed will of God. Do you currently follow what you already know is the revealed will of God as described in his word? We go on to see how we can give wise counsel. Brothers and sisters, faith and action go hand in hand. It is not necessary to make a final decision hurriedly, yet we must also not become complacent and do nothing. We must engage in activities like searching the scriptures and prayerfully seeking counsel from mature believers who have your welfare in mind. When we have God's peace concerning a previous action, we can receive it as God's confirmation. This peace is a knowing, a revelation, a confirmation that God is with us and we are walking in his will. If the peace isn't present, then perhaps it might be better to go back to the Lord and seek his will. As we ponder upon these troubling choices that some of you are thinking about, I pray that God will guide you through his word, especially if it is his directive will already and you are just struggling to follow it. However, if it is within the circle of freedom, the choices that he give you, and you are still trying to choose the best, I pray that you might find peace in arriving at the choices, the possible choices that are all permissible by God and his word. See you for day 3.